stacked up somewhere that was already outdated. So all we did was get high. Me and Dane get high. Yo, let's go draw. Then I would go to the front, get the flyers, and I would draw Panic. And I would visualize who Panic was. Panic. Now, it started when I was 13. Dane actually picked a name for graffiti. That's all it ever was. I was drawing in the neighborhood, Panic. And I just kept visualizing who Panic was. What I was doing was channeling Panic. I was Larry at the time, but I visualized who I needed to bring here to do the work. I brung Panic here. Panic was destined to come here at a certain time in this body. That shit is real. Never told you that. Now, kept channeling him, and I would visualize what I thought Panic was. And I had to be 17, 18. So I'm thinking of my life. You know what I'm saying? How it was going to be. How it was going to be on the street, more or less. So now, from graffiti, niggas in the street is calling me Panic. So you graduate to that level. And I already knew who the character was, which is he existed in a parallel universe. But see, I'll do you one better. All of those parallel universes were Larry's. That were Data. Panic came from a little bit higher. That's why it took long for it to descend. Then ultimately, I stopped calling myself Panic. I was working IT, wasn't doing it. When I met Shabazz, the first day he said, "What's your name?" And something said Panic. I just told him Larry. I said Panic. He said, all right, you know what I'm saying? And it was like that was the purpose of it. But it's a channel. I just drew it every day and pulled it down. The same way that nigga name is Hands and Dirty and Liquid and Stuff. You know what I mean? These names that we see all over the street, you know what I'm saying, is like characters that you make and you create. Everything is a character. Right. This is a stage. Everything is a performance. So yes, you know, it was something I pulled down. And think in hindsight, I was able to see that. You know, doing a lot of talking to B.O.B. He's actually really good at his shit, man. Like, really surprising, really aggressive, really gets it. And he could fuck with some of the weirdest channels I get. Nigga, check it. I can't even say. Niggas, well, this nigga done lost it. It's too hard. So unless I could filter it in a way people understand, them shits is just for us. So that nigga be down with that shit. And nigga. Da-da-da-da. So I was hitting him with it. I said, I remember channeling Panic. Every day we would just write. I would just keep writing Panic. I was trying to call what I needed here. When you take over that human body to do a work, now that's us. Half these niggas are stuck in this shit. I'm sorry to tell you guys. And you're listening to this to get out of it. But to be quite honest, and I say it with no arrogance, already did this shit. You know what I'm saying? Already did it. And there's a few of us here who've already been through it. But the good news is you'll find it in the Kuan Yin Bodhisattva story about compassion, about those who turn around and see the compassion in human beings. I, you know, when I seen the Bodhisattvas in the museums, first in Brooklyn, I thought I was going crazy. It was probably it was made out of Uncle Hank talks about it now. And this herb is in the herb pack. It'll come back to me.
Acacia? Not acacia, right? Not acacia.
That's it.
Acacia, okay.
Acacia. Okay. It was a statue made out of acacia of the Bodhisattva. I took a picture of the name. I've never heard of this. Then when you go to the Met, they have a whole Kuan Yin Bodhisattva room right before you get to the Hindu spot. And was taken aback, like it was flooring me. Who the fuck are these guys? Called Bobby, told me to get a book called The Way of the Bodhisattva. You guys could find it. And he told me about the story of Kuan Yin. So I knew I was connected to that. that this is already a done deal. You already passed go. You already figured it out. You already got your goddamn t-shirt and your crown. But before you leave, they say you turn around and come back to teach. The compassion. The Bodhisattva becomes Kuan Yin. That's why it was so profound when I was dealing with Tara. The crying, I'm sure I've talked about it with you with the crying and all the shit. It's connected to Kuan Yin. So another thing, I was complaining one time. I just told niggas, why niggas is still saying this? I said that clear as day. Explained it, and Bobby seen the frustration. So he was like, well, you've done it before. This is new to a lot of people. So a lot of these people, Brother Rich included, I believe, came back for this. And Brother Rich will tell y'all, and I know some of y'all are new, some of you guys are old, but there's at least 15 teachers y'all never heard of that were monsters that are gone. Heard something about, you know what I'm saying? Like just Richard King alone, you know what I'm saying? C. Freeman now. I know there's certain tapes going around. Richard King didn't have any tapes, I don't think, going around. Either way, when this circuit was going on, all these guys made the transition. Is it true Brother Dawood also made the transition?
No, he's still alive. He's still here.
He's still alive. Okay,
yeah,
that wasn't true.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, all right, so so in other words, that work, Rich, I think is done. I think that was it. Because all those teachers came. Like, whatever's left now is the cleanup crew. But you were clear back then that these people have been here before. When you was in a room with those heads, Rich, I'm sure Rich remember, you was clear. It wasn't just somebody sitting there talking. They had something. Francis Cress Wilson, Amos Wilson. Man, Amos Wilson will put you on your ass. Barashingo, you know what I'm saying? All these guys was badass. Asa Hilliard, you know what I'm saying? All made this all gone. You know what I'm saying? All gone. You know what I'm saying? That's all good. I'm waiting to join them niggas. I'm almost jealous. Like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna die.
Well, let me ask you this based on what you said. And reminded me of something I read in a book. This book, the name of this book is The Infinite Mind Field. You ever seen this one, Panic? All right, let me read this to you because it's something you said, and I'm gonna ask you a question. Let me read this. Okay. By evolving through space-time, by organizing itself into the complex variety of existence, God grows and learns endlessly, discovering awareness through each of us. God's countless inimitable selves. In our cosmic game of hide and seek, God hides within each of us, within all of creation and throughout space-time. God is disguised as the world. And the purpose of the game of creation is to uncover the divine, to explore the limits of who we are, to actualize God's self-awareness. Our very consciousness is the universe becoming aware of itself. God becoming aware of itself. Without us, God is incomplete. The divine sparks remain hidden. The divine potential is unrealized. It seems like God needs humanity. What we call God needs humanity more than humanity needs God. My question to you, Panic, will be, since a person would say you're anti-humanity, they would say, Brother Rich, they want to get the fuck out of here. But the essence of from which we come from, according to what I just read, from what I'm understanding, wants humanity to continue to realize itself and actualize itself and understand itself. So do you think our limited perspective wants us to not reincarnate down here when that is the very purpose God, designed this whole shit for?
Fuck God. I ain't doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's pretend that. But first of all, we're going to pretend what he said is real. That we're taking that as fact. Of course, there's other shit we can bust out right now that contradicts that hard. God wants you to be a humanity because humanities are slaves that feed him with your goddamn thoughts. They said that shit in class of the Titans straight out. We're dying because the humans aren't praying to us. What you calling gods and those who are in a higher position than you are draining the shit out your ass. You calling them creators and all this mystical shit. What if for a moment you listen to the basic shit that everyone says, that you're God? So you chose to have a human experience for you to learn, for your particular reason, not for this whole. Maybe there's a whole collective humanity thing. And I believe that, and I'll tell you why and how that would manifest. But you're here because you're God too. You're a part of that divine spark which makes you in control. So when you say, I don't want to be here no more, job well done. You're not a slave. It's time for you to go, because trust and believe there's thousands coming back to replace your monkey ass. See, we think from a egotistical perspective. God needs us to get shit happening. Ain't nothing or nobody thinking about you. You became conscious and you started thinking about you. All of this is a way to do nothing. God, it's a fancy way to say, well, I'm working for God. I guess I'll go to Walmart and get me some fucking barbecue. You get what I'm saying? It's your God. Your mind is God. Watch the last season of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where the black dude Benjamin Sisko is the captain, where they're outside of a wormhole in a space station. I would say watch the last season, because that's when it all came to a head. If you're a fan and you feel like it, watch the whole thing. I thought they were okay, good enough. And it was good. The black dude overacts, but other than that, it's more Star Trek. But the last season, they started giving revelations and made a point. They found in the wormhole, which led them to a whole new universe, that there is a ruler of that universe called the Dominion. They didn't know who that was yet. They were enforced. Their army was the Jebhadar, I think their name was. They were niggers to the point where it was scary. Like, they're not even trying to hide this shit. And they were stuck on this shit called white drugs, which made them work for the Dominion. Now, throughout the show, they had on the first Star Trek Spock, somebody weird. Second Star Trek Data, Kenny Manzo. You know what I'm saying? And in the third one, the one I'm talking about, they had a character called Odo, who was a shapeshifter. He said how I could turn into anything, but I'm most comfortable in a bucket as liquid. Turns out he's a part of the Dominion. He didn't know who he was. He didn't know where he was or his people. He was alone there. Turns out the Dominions are the same shapeshifters as him. The Dominion live on a planet where it's just one big ocean of all of them. They said, well, what we do, listen to this shit. They tell you in your face, is send pieces of us all around the universe. Some make it back, some don't. The ones who make it back rejoin the pool, and what they learned wherever they were at becomes a part of the whole collective or the mind of God.
Right.
God sends us out with parts of his mind, not God sends us out separate from him as humans. And then when you die, okay, Rich, what'd you learn? Start curling his hair. Hey, Rich, what's up with Harlem, man? Tell me all about it, Rich.
Yeah.
God ain't doing that. You're joining, your soul is Odo. Your soul, there's three parts of you. I couldn't tell you, this was too long for the ancestor show, but this would have went there. Your body, your spirit, your soul. Your body never leaves Earth. We can get rid of that. Your spirit can travel between Earth in the astral realm. When you die, your body stays here, your spirit goes to the astral realm. The cord is cut. You go to live there. Now, if you are operating with your mind, imagination, and visualization. Your imagination is how you build your world or your home in this etheric place. If you have a tortured life here, you're in hell there. If you have an ignorant life, you could be in hell there. There's a book called Astro Travel by Gavin and Yvonne Frost. They're husband and wife. It's a little blue book you see everywhere. The first half, one of them wrote. The second half is on fire. The first half is okay. The second half picks up. They tell you about the characteristics of what you're going to see in the astral world during astral travel. You see people hanging around churches. I've seen all of that. Stuck people. There's people who still learn in the astral world and get out without even incarnating. My aunt said she wanted to stay with me and learn. Eventually, she came to me in a dream. She was an Orthodox Muslim. These guys were yelling, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We changed to a Kala Akbar. I said, oh, she's telling me her new name. And so she got it from there. So your spirit stays alive in the astral world as long as people remember you. So as long as they're putting up pictures, not even spirit-wise, just your family. If you pass, they're all going to have, that's Richard, he was the grandpa, these are his grandkids. Rich used to make a peanut butter salad. You're going to make that tonight. If all of this, without spirituality, them remembering you keeps your spirit alive, because your soul may have gone and got another body. You may be eating that peanut butter salad as a kid now, or you may just go home, move on. I don't want to be here no more. I've gotten everything I need to get. But your spirit still will exist, because it is not a thing that needs something. It's a signature that Rich left behind. So what are the characteristics of Rich? Rich could talk, I would say. Rich could ask. Rich is a host. So if I'm ever in a situation, I said, damn, man, we need somebody to host us, man. That's really good, man. This nigga suck. Yo, let's fire this shit up. Get Rich's picture. You know what I'm saying? I know exactly what I'm putting up there. The fucking turkey burgers that you like so much.
Facts.
Boom. You know what I'm saying? Putting that up. And I'm just going to start there. Everything I can think of, your logos, your Rich. I'm just going, but see, I know how to just talk. I don't, Rich, I need you to come in, get in this dude's ass. So it's not like you're saying, okay, Panic. It's like you're just energy now. You're like plugging into electricity. This is how I plug into you, because your consciousness is gone. But I need that guy. How did that really work? Let's say I was the Dogon people and we worshiped and ate and drank and created the same minds in our culture for hundreds and hundreds of years. That means when people die, they expect the same thing. So in the astral world, their spirits are being collected in a location or a frequency where the Dogon can tell the young Panic, you have a question, ask the ancestors. So he's really picking from thousands of Dogon. Saying, how do I make bread pudding? So one of them dudes made it. You understand what I'm saying? The ancestors are good for your human problems. The gods, really, even Lakshmi, use Lakshmi for spiritual prosperity. You can use it for physical, but you always know a nigga that used to get money who's gone.
Right.
Or that nigga. He knows Earth. He was here. So you think Lakshmi gives a fuck about Earth? She's an energy signature that's never been to Earth. Lakshmi, I need help with my rent. What's rent? So it may happen. You understand what I'm saying? Usually it's somebody else doing it, because these things don't care about that. But your uncle or your cousin, your get money uncle, your cocaine uncle, He know how to get some dollars. That's who the fuck you call. You get that nigga coked up. Say, yo, I need this, work with me on some shit.
What was that name? Phil said the Mustafa, or remember that? Remember Muskavu or something.
Yeah, the Mustafa powder. But I remember them doing a whole lecture on that. Bobby talked about that powder too, that white gold, how they can shit float, and how they said white people took it over in the boat, and by the time they got to Europe, the shit floated all the way. They didn't cover it. Like, just dumb shit. But yeah, the Mustafa'lis.
Yeah.
Mustafa'lis, my nigga.
Wow, man. Wow. That is because there's some people that feels it's interesting that you say that. Some people feel as though, why not go straight to the plug? Why talk to the ancestors? They like the middleman. Why not go straight to the plug? You know what I'm saying? So,
no, the ancestors know your story. That's their big deal. That's their big deal. What we've now did was church them and Jesus them. So now the ancestors, I'm trying to make the ancestors proud, like they sitting around. Gone. Work the stock market, Panic. You're doing your thing. Doesn't even make sense. They left this place. So their soul and their concern is somewhere else. But they left a energy signature. Know what we call that signature to make it easy for ourselves?
What?
The personality. So I know Rich's personality. That's how I entice his energy signature. Because I'm really just plugging into Rich. I'm talking to him like he's a personality, but I'm really communing with the energy. I need Rich's energy. This is who he was. You are that guy bottled up in a container. You release from that container. Now I have a name for that energy that I can call. Well, everything's an energy. Energy to walk to the store. Energy to want to fuck. Energy to want to eat this, that, or the other thing. Energy to go say, shit, I got to go in here and talk to this chick. Yeah, she's going to do that. Energy to pick up the baby. So everything's an energy that you call on. If Rich Merritt is no longer in the body, he's an energy, not a person that's Panic's done good. I'm going to ancestor him today. That's not how it works. It's like Panic, Rich don't care. He's not looking at me or looking for me. Maybe if you first made the transition, stuff like that would happen because your humanity is still looking and you starting to understand. And most people, niggas from the hood, will come to me because my light is on. So they'll ask me how to do that. My stepmother, my evil stepmother came. It was hard. Like when she came early on, like, bitch, you know what you did, bitch. So it was hard, even though I know she's not the same person. But it's not hard for them. It's more hard for you. And going through what I understood with my grandfather, I said, all right, then what the fuck is up? She said, she left my father, got with a new dude and died. The dude is, that was still her dude. So my father was before that. So she's like, why is your father trying to get with me? I said, understand, on earth for a moment, there's a time where y'all were at the high point of bliss. When he gets with you in the astral world, because you're not one entity anymore. You're not a singularity. When Michael Jackson came, he talked about 1,000 niggas. How is he talking to you? And he was, I was like, no, he's not one guy anymore. So my father was trying to do was get with her to connect with that moment of bliss they had on earth and be able to live in that moment with her. That's a part of his arsenal as he builds a heaven in the astral world. Now, ultimately, heaven is the quantum world. That's the final destination, as you could say, even the Kamites seen it. The end result is our quantum reality in what they call the Osirian body, and you become all the gods, blah, blah, blah. But in the astral world, we just talking about, we hadn't gotten past the astral world yet. The astral world is a part of Earth, and it's a part of the illusion. When astral world is not an end result, not a destination. It's a part of it. It's every night you go to the astral world when you dream. You travel every night. It's nothing scary. It's nothing you have to do. What your true astral traveling is only becoming lucid of the traveling that you do. Not waking up, I had a weird dream. Waking up, you're actually finding techniques to bring your consciousness in the dream with you. Excellent book, just like Cyclomancy, is a book called Astrodynamics by Robert Bruce, a how-to on exercises on astral traveling. When I did that shit, that was the shit that got me in. Astral traveling separates the men from the boys. Once you start fucking with that and you become competent in that world, that's when it starts talking back to you. You become lucid in that world. And becoming lucid in that world, more lucid in meditation, lucid in that zone out, you can stay in that moment because panic is there controlling it. Usually panic is back on earth while I'm somewhere here. And then when I come back, my memory is trying to remember bits and fragments. When I bring panic with me was what you truly learn in astral travel. They tell you all that shit, and I did all that shit in the dream, move your hand, stop shit from you. Niggas was arresting me. I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm in a bed in a hotel with Khadijah. She's visiting. This was before we got together. She's visiting New York. Wake up, nigga. I've learned how to meditate. I've been meditating since I was 10. My father was deeply into that shit. And I could get so deep, like in a barbershop. They'll tap me. It's my turn. I can't just get up and turn. I'm literally sleeping. I would experience paralysis. So that same paralysis that people complain about, I could go that deep and be aware where I would literally have sleep paralysis if I tried to move. So I know how to consciously call myself back. Wait for my spirit to get, because your spirit is what animates you. You're still alive because it's cut to the core, but it's actually in the astral world.
So what do you recommend when you have the sleep paralysis? Like for people, just
try not to get up. Just if you're aware enough, lay your ass there because it's going to be struggling. What happens is you come back into awareness in layers. So your consciousness comes back before everything comes back. So you're up and aware, and then you try to do what you do, but you're not totally back yet. And you can't move because your spirit is what animates you. So when you die, your spirit leaves and it lives in the astral world. It can come to earth, that because it's the same thing. The astral world is more etheric, but earth is more material. So that's why we can call spirits, give shit to spirits, physical things. We're in a symbiont relationship. This is not really your true high self. It is what the creator made to actually fool you. It's the dream world. When you check out the Gnostic shit, they'll tell you that the creator that they're calling God, like I said, it depends on what God that dude is talking about. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's an evil lesser, like in Gnostic thought, there's the one true God. And he created 8 deities under him. Loose to run through the story real quick. The lowest deity was the Great Mother, Sophia. So the Great Mother Sophia couldn't see above her. And ego took a play. So she had a baby without the Holy Divine Spirit, recognized it, threw it in the abyss, Yaldabaoth. And of course, he's seen what was happening as the mythology goes. He's seen what was happening above his head, recreated it his best he could. For the firmament to rest his feet, he created earth, and to rest his head, he created the astral world. So what they're saying, where he controls your dreams, this creator that everyone's given, he needs this to unfold and look at himself and all that bullshit shit. In a way, that's true, but they're still attributing it to someone outside of you. You came here to do that for you. And we don't want to take, it's everything not to take responsibility. I'm doing this for somebody. I'm on a mission. The effect. So if Trayvon Martin gets killed, that's an effect. If a cop beats another motherfucker's ass, that's an effect. If niggas ain't got no economy, that's an effect. If Trump do this, that's an effect. That's not a cause. So we're moving on. We're reactionary niggas. No matter how deep we say Hotep, we're having reactions. The occult is trying to say we want to control the cause.
Right.
Therefore, and the cause we understand to be invisible in its nature. Therefore, we must address it with what looks invisible to the earth, but very visible in the mind. You get what I'm saying? Very visible. So it looks like you're just doing this and that and this, but it's symbolic of where you're directing your fucking mind to deal with the invisible. So you got these, in my, well, let me not resort to name calling. You got guys who just don't understand the concept. And then, you know, they'll make that statement where your mind's on Saturn, your mind's on this, your mind's on that. And then in the next breath say, but we gods. Well, if we gods, didn't you make Saturn? And shouldn't your mind be on that shit as well? Or are you saying you can't keep your mind on both? Well, leave it to the advanced God who could. Because my shit is on this and is on that. And on this, I know this is done. And it's not like I'm really trying to go to Saturn to turn up neither. All that shit is done. We're trying to get beyond this realm. And even if you don't believe in that, you got to, there's, what else is working? What else is working? It's the same old shit. Niggas don't know what, complaining about they doing this, they doing that, and they making me wear a mask. No control.
Hey, Penny.
Yes.
What when I listen to lectures from the brother Bobby, old lectures with him and Clemson Brown, I mean, they put together some classic lectures.
Right.
You talked about how you mentioned Sirius and the importance of Sirius. He talked about how Set is the oldest deity known to man, and how Set represented Soot, represented Sirius, representing the dragon constellation. And that when the dynastic Egyptians came around, they erased what was going on with the pre-dynastic, the Typhonian Egyptians. What I want to know is and they made Osiris the main deity. First it was Set, but then Set got turned evil by the dynastic priests, and then Osiris came the main deity. So now we Kemetic priests, we Kemetic scholars, and everything is Osiris, and Set is the bad guy. Because we don't know the pre-dynastic era. What beef